everybody, it's Miss Jackson.
Hey, Miss Hornick.
And we're here to read chapters 12 through 15 in Saving Winslow. So I'm going to start on page 41 if you're following along, and it's going to start with chapter 12, Here Comes Trouble. The rumble of Uncle Pete's old blue truck announced his arrival. Uncle Pete was a large man, tall and stout, with mammoth hands and feet. His normal greeting was a booming, "Hey there," followed by a pat on the shoulder, but the pat was so forceful it usually knocked Louis off balance. "Hey there, Louie. Whoa, careful there. Don't fall over. You need some meat on those bones, boy." Uncle Pete was a childhood friend of Louie's father. Not really an uncle, but that's how Louie's parents had always referred to him. "Here comes trouble," Louie's mother said. That's what she usually said when she saw Uncle Pete. "Ha ha, that's me. Trouble is my middle name." His cheeks were red from the cold. "Wicked out there today. How's that poor donkey doing? Did it croak on ya?" "It was doing good until this morning," Louis said. "Come and see." Louis had fed Winslow late the night before, and the two of them had settled down to sleep. Winslow in his small pen and Louis on the nearby cot. Usually the donkey woke him up around 4 a.m. for another feeding, but Louis had slept soundly through the night without hearing Winslow. When Louis did wake, it was almost 7 o'clock and he felt relieved. Now maybe Winslow would continue to sleep through the night. For the past week, Louis had been groggy all day long, never feeling fully awake, always feeling as if he could fall asleep sitting up. When he opened the pen, Winslow did not scramble to his feet or turn his head toward Louis as he usually did. He made no sound, no pleases, no begs. He was lying on his side, his breathing shallow. When Louis lifted him, Winslow slumped in his arms, still not waking. Louis rubbed his sides with the blanket and dipped a cool cloth against his face. "Oh, Winslow, come on, what's the matter? What's wrong?" Louis tried to recall if he had done anything wrong, if he had mixed the formula incorrectly, or if the bottle had not been clean, but he could not think of anything he had done differently the night before. He summoned his parents and ran next door to get Mac's father, who was not a vet, but he knew about animals. Mac's father said, "Some kind of infection, probably. Need to have a vet check him. Get some antibiotics in him." "Did I do something wrong?" Louis asked. He hugged Winslow to his chest, stroking his head. "Newborns are fragile," Mac's father said. "They can catch any old thing drifting through the air. It's a wonder any of them make it." Mac's father called a good friend of his, a retired vet, who came over right away. After examining Winslow, the vet gave him 2 shots and left a prescription for additional medicine. "It's okay, boy," the vet said to Louis. "He might make it, but if he doesn't, you're doing as much as you can. These things happen. You can do everything right, and yet—" His unfinished sentence hung in the air. Before leaving, the vet said, "You'll have to give him one of these shots each day for at least 10 days. "What? Who? Me?" Louis said. "I'll show you how. My grandson can do it, and he's only 9. "Give a shot? You want me to give a shot?" "Watch." He showed Louis how to fill the syringe, check the level, tap it to release the air bubbles, insert the needle, and release the medication. "Practice on an orange. You'll be fine." But, you can do it." By the time Uncle Pete arrived later that day, Winslow was a little more alert. He had taken a few ounces of milk and had opened his eyes, but he still had not stood and was still breathing shallowly. Uncle Pete touched Winslow gently, his huge hand enveloping the donkey's body. "Yep, he's a sick one. Too bad. Kind of amazing you got him to live that long, though." "But he's going to make it," Louis said. "Well, his mother didn't make it. My LGD died yesterday. That birth must have been harder on her than I thought." "But Winslow will make it," Louis insisted. "He will. He will." Later that day, Louis remembered that Gus had once told him that LGD meant little gray donkey. "Winslow, you are my LGD, and you're going to make it, right?" Chapter 13, What's the Matter with Him? "Louis, you awake? That girl is out front," his mother said. Louis was lying on the couch with Winslow wrapped in a blanket on his chest. "Which girl?" "You know, the one you call the Bumblebee girl." "Oh, Nora. What's she doing?" "Walking back and forth. I think maybe she wants to come in or something. You'd better see for yourself. I'll probably scare her off." Louis carried Winslow to the door. Sure enough, there was Nora walking back and forth on the sidewalk in front of his house. "Hey," he called to her. "Did you come to see Winslow?" "I was just nearby," she said. "Well, do you want to see him?" "Not really. No, maybe. You got him there in that blanket?" "Come on in," Louis said. I can't bring him out today, but you can come in if you want. Nora glanced up the street and down the street and kicked the snowbank with her boots. She was wearing her usual outfit, and Louis realized he did not have a very good idea what she looked like because she was always swallowed up in that big coat, and her hat was squashed all the way down on her head. He didn't know if she was plump or skinny or if she had long hair or short. She came slowly up the walk, as if making up her mind whether she was going to come in or not. Louis opened the door wider. Come on, he said. Can't leave the door open. Might get Winslow cold. Okay, then, Nora said, stepping inside. She stomped the snow off her boots and casually tried to peer over the edge of the blanket wrapped bundle in Louis's arms. What's the matter with him? Something's the matter, isn't it? I can tell. He's all saggy. He's been sick. I knew it. What? I just knew it. Nora stomped one foot hard on the floor. It makes me so mad. I don't want to see it. I knew it. Wait. I gotta go. I knew it. And with that, Nora left, stomping her boots all the way down the walk and down the street.
Chapter 14. See that light? One time when Louis was young, maybe 3 or 4, he woke in the middle of the night and saw that the sky outside his window was silvery white, so bright. Through the window streamed a rectangle of light, a wide beam across the room. It fell across the foot of his bed and onto the floor. He thought he was in a different world, maybe one where the sun shone silver. Maybe it was day and not night. Louis went to the window and saw that the silvery light spread across the whole sky. The trees cast long, dark shadows across the lawn. He walked through the house, peering out other windows, and everywhere was the silver sky and everywhere the dark shadows. He woke Gus. Something is happening. See that light? It's only moonlight, Gus said. There's a full moon tonight. Gus led Louis to the other side of the house, and there, from a bathroom window above the roof of the neighbor's house, a full moon was suspended in the sky. See, Gus said, nothing to worry about, nothing unusual. When he returned to his bed, Louis thought, nothing unusual? That silver light is not unusual? Then why had he never seen it before? Why did the light wake him? Chapter 15. Shot. The first time Louis gave Winslow a shot, he almost fainted. He kept telling himself, I can do this, but he didn't really believe it. He was afraid of getting it wrong and hurting Winslow. He could hardly bear it that Winslow was sick, but it would be even worse if he hurt him more. His father held Winslow while Louis prepared the syringe. For a moment, Louis felt dizzy and queasy. He thought he might vomit as he injected the needle and released the medication. Winslow briefly twitched, but he made no sound. Did I do it? Louis asked his father. I did it, didn't I? He gently massaged the area around the injection site and held Winslow close. You sound surprised, his father said. Well, I am. Surprised and relieved. Me too, his father said. Surprised and relieved. I thought I was going to throw up. Me too. I thought we both were going to throw up. The next time he had to give Winslow a shot, he tried to convince his father to do it, but his father said, no, you're taking care of him. You can do it. That time, when Louis inserted the needle into the pinch of skin, as he'd been directed, the needle went through to the other side and the medicine shot into the air. Louis wanted to throw the syringe on the ground and shout, I can't do this. I can't. But one look at pitiful Winslow made him try again. This time, the needle went into the muscle instead of into the layer just beneath the skin. Winslow yelped and Louis cried, I'm sorry, Winslow. I don't want to hurt you. I can't do this. I can't make you better. Louis felt helpless. He imagined himself in the incubator when he was born. Was he pinched and poked and prodded? Was it hard to get a needle or a tube into him? Did he cry? Did the doctors and nurses feel helpless? Did his parents cry? There was a lump in the muscle where Louis had misdirected the shot, and Winslow flinched when Louis rubbed it. The next shots were easier, but Winslow was slow to respond to the medicine. Why doesn't he get better right away? It takes time for the medicine to work, Louis's father said. Well, what if it doesn't work? Louis wanted Winslow to get better immediately. He hated not knowing if he was helping or hurting Winslow. He hated not knowing if Winslow would survive. Sometimes Louis felt that saving Winslow would also save and protect Gus, like the two were connected somehow. One day, Mac and Claudine appeared at the door, calling out for Louis. They were surprised when Louis answered the door, to see Winslow making his wobbly way down the hall behind him. Unsteady, but at least he's walking, Mac said. Oh, Claudine said, diapers! It was true, a donkey with diapers. Inside the house, upstairs, not in the basement. I know it's weird, Louis said, but whenever I come upstairs from the basement, he looks so sad and bumps his head against the steps over and over. Claudine put her hand on Louis's arm. But you have to, you have to change the diapers? Yes, not my favorite job. I also have to give him shots. Shots? You know how to do that? Still learning. Claudine stroked Winslow's head. Will he make it? He'll make it, Louis said. He will. Claudine tilted her head sympathetically. I guess I wouldn't get too attached, though. If it were me, I would be so upset if Louis interrupted her. Hey, where's Nora? Claudine patted Louis's arm. Oh, she didn't want to, what? You know, what? We should leave, Mac, right? Don't you have to do that thing at the... Mac blinked a few times and said, oh, sure, better go. See you, Louis. Talk to you later. Louis watched them head toward Mac's house next door. Claudine was in front and Mac behind her as they followed the narrow, shoveled path. The way Mac followed Claudine reminded Louis of Winslow trailing behind him all day